For all of human history, we have looked up at the stars and wondered. Are we the only thinking beings in this vast, dark expanse? Is Earth the only cradle of life, a singular, precious accident in a silent universe? This question is not merely a scientific curiosity, it is a philosophical one that touches the very core of our existence. It shapes our religions, our art, and our deepest sense of place in the cosmos. For centuries, the answer has been confined to speculation and fiction. We had no data, no evidence, only the powerful pull of possibility. But today, on August 18th, 2025, we stand at a remarkable threshold where technology and observation are beginning to provide us with tantalizing clues. The search for extraterrestrial intelligence, or SETI, has traditionally involved listening for signals, like cosmic radio stations broadcasting across the void. We have aimed our powerful telescopes at distant stars, hoping to catch a deliberate message sent by another civilization. This is a worthy endeavor, but it assumes that other beings would communicate in a way we can easily recognize. It also assumes they are actively trying to contact us. I believe we must broaden our search. We must look for the artifacts, the technological relics that a spacefaring civilization might leave behind. These could be probes, equipment, or even cosmic debris floating through our solar system, waiting to be found. This approach requires a shift in our scientific mindset. We must be open to the possibility that some of the strange objects we observe are not natural phenomena. Science often favors the most conservative explanation, which is a prudent starting point. However, when an object defies all known natural explanations, we must have the courage to consider the alternative. We must be willing to entertain the hypothesis that we have found something artificial. This is not a leap of faith, it is a logical step, driven by data. The universe is likely filled with countless other planets and civilizations, many of which could be far older and more advanced than our own. It is statistically improbable that we're alone. Therefore, when we encounter anomalies, objects, or events that do not fit our models of the natural world, we have a responsibility to investigate them with an open mind. Two such mysteries have recently captured our attention, pushing the boundaries of our understanding. One is a visitor from interstellar space, an object named Oumuamua, and its potential sibling 31 Atlas. The other is a strange event much closer to home, a puzzling sighting in a California driveway. Both challenge our assumptions and force us to confront the profound possibility that we are not, in fact, alone. These are not just stories, they are data points in humanity's greatest search. In 2017, our telescopes detected something unprecedented. An object from another star system was passing through our own. We named it Oumuamua, a Hawaiian word meaning a messenger from afar arriving first. This was the very first interstellar object ever observed by humans, a true cosmic pioneer. Its discovery was a landmark moment, offering us a physical sample from a distant part of the galaxy. At first, the scientific community assumed it was a comet or an asteroid, a simple piece of rock or ice, flung from its home star by gravitational forces. This was the simplest, most conventional explanation, and it seemed logical at the time. However, as we gathered more data, Oumuamua began to reveal its strange nature. It was unlike any comet or asteroid we had ever seen. Its shape was extreme, estimated to be very elongated, perhaps 10 times longer than it was wide, like a cosmic cigar or a flat pancake. This is a highly unusual configuration for a natural space rock, which tends to be shaped into more rounded forms by collisions and gravity over millions of years. Furthermore, it was moving incredibly fast, at a speed of about 196,000 miles per hour relative to the Sun, a velocity too high for it to be captured by the Sun's gravity. It was clearly just passing through. The most puzzling characteristic of Oumuamua was its trajectory. As it moved away from the Sun, it accelerated slightly. It was pushed by a mysterious force that could not be explained by the Sun's gravity alone. For a comet, this push is normal. It is caused by the outgassing of ice and dust that vaporizes in the Sun's heat, creating a tail and acting like a small rocket engine. But here was the problem. Oumuamua had no tail. Our most powerful telescopes, including the Spitzer Space Telescope, looked for any sign of gas or dust around it and found nothing. It was completely inert, yet something was giving it a gentle push. This lack of a cometary tail was the critical piece of the puzzle that did not fit. We were left with an object that moved like a comet but did not look like one. It had no visible means of propulsion, yet it deviated from a purely gravitational path. Scientists tried to propose explanations involving exotic types of ice, like solid hydrogen, that would be invisible to our telescopes. However, these theories require very specific and unlikely conditions to form and survive a journey through interstellar space. The more we studied Oumuamua, the more it seemed to defy a simple natural explanation. It was a true anomaly. As a scientist, I am trained to follow the evidence wherever it leads, even if it takes me to an uncomfortable or unpopular conclusion. After examining all the data on Oumuamua, I was forced to consider a possibility that many of my colleagues were reluctant to embrace. The combination of its strange flat shape, its high speed, and its anomalous acceleration, without any outgassing, points to one extraordinary but plausible explanation. Oumuamua was not a natural object. I proposed that it was a piece of advanced alien technology, possibly a probe, a solar sail, or even a piece of cosmic debris from another civilization. This is not speculation. It is a hypothesis based on the facts we have. The gentle push that Oumuamua experienced is perfectly consistent with the force of solar radiation. Sunlight itself exerts a tiny amount of pressure. For a normal heavy rock, this pressure is negligible. But if an object is very thin and has a large surface area, like a sail, then the pressure from sunlight can be enough to propel it. A light sail is a technology that we humans are developing right now for our own interstellar probes. The existence of an object shaped like a sail would elegantly explain the acceleration without any outgassing. It would mean that Oumuamua was deliberately designed to be propelled by starlight. This hypothesis, which I detailed in my book Extraterrestrial, was met with significant resistance from the scientific establishment. It is often said that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. I agree, but we must also acknowledge when the evidence we have is itself extraordinary. The properties of Oumuamua are unlike anything we have ever seen. To insist it must be natural, we are forced to invent new kinds of comets with properties we have never observed. To me, it is more conservative to assume that a technological civilization elsewhere would use a principle of physics, light sails, that we are already exploring ourselves. The resistance to this idea is, I believe, rooted in a kind of cosmic modesty, or perhaps a failure of imagination. For centuries, we have been conditioned by science to remove ourselves from the center of the universe. We are not special, our planet is not special, our star is not special. This is a healthy perspective, but it can be taken too far. It can lead to a dogmatic refusal to even consider the possibility that we might find evidence of another intelligence. But if we are not special, then life and intelligence should have arisen elsewhere. Finding their technology in our backyard should not be a surprise, it should be an expectation. The mystery deepened in 2020 with the discovery of another strange object, initially designated A10BMLZ, but which I and my colleagues have identified as a candidate interstellar object we call 31 Atlas. This object was detected by the Atlas Survey Telescope in Hawaii, the same system that first spotted Oumuamua. Like its predecessor, 31 Atlas displayed characteristics that set it apart from typical comets or asteroids. It appeared to be on a trajectory that originated from outside our solar system, and it too showed a slight acceleration away from the Sun that was not accompanied by any visible cometary tail. The parallels to Oumuamua were immediate and striking. What makes 31 Atlas particularly fascinating is that it presents us with a second data point. In science, a single anomaly can sometimes be dismissed as a fluke, a one-in-a-million natural occurrence. But when a second similar anomaly appears, it becomes a pattern. The probability of two unrelated, highly unusual natural objects with similar non-gravitational acceleration passing through our solar system in just a few years is extremely low. This strengthens the case that we are observing a new class of objects, and it forces us to take the technological hypothesis even more seriously. Are we seeing the first examples of a galactic population of interstellar probes? My team at Harvard analyzed the trajectory of 31 Atlas meticulously. We calculated that just like Oumuamua, Its motion could be explained by a push from solar radiation, assuming it was a very thin object with a large surface area relative to its mass. It was behaving like another light sail. The fact that we have now found two such candidates suggests they may not be rare at all. It could be that our sky is filled with these objects, but our survey telescopes have only recently become sensitive enough to detect them as they pass close to Earth. We may be standing on the shore of a vast cosmic ocean, just beginning to notice the strange driftwood washing the shore. Of course, the natural origin hypothesis for 31 Atlas also exists. Some scientists suggest it could be a fragment of a nitrogen iceberg chipped off a Pluto-like planet in another solar system. This is an ingenious theory, but like the hydrogen iceberg theory for Oumuamua, it requires a very specific and unobserved set of circumstances. The technological explanation, on the other hand, relies on a single unifying idea that another civilization uses light sails to explore the galaxy. As we continue to scan the skies, every new discovery, like 31 Atlas, will help us distinguish between these competing hypotheses. The universe is giving us clues, and we must be brave enough to follow them. The story of 31 Atlas has a thrilling next chapter that Oumuamua did not afford us. While Oumuamua was already heading out of our solar system when we found it, moving too fast to ever be reached, 31 Atlas is on a different path. Its orbit is such that it will make a very close approach to the Sun. According to our calculations, this will happen in September of 2025, just over a year from now. During this pass, known as perihelion, the object will be subjected to intense solar radiation and gravitational forces. This provides us with an unprecedented opportunity to study it up close and potentially solve the mystery once and for all. This close pass is honestly a critical scientific event. If 31 Atlas is indeed a natural object, like a nitrogen iceberg, the intense heat from the Sun should cause it to sublimate and break apart. We would expect to see a significant release of gas and dust, creating the very cometary tail that has been absent so far. Our telescopes, including the James Webb Space Telescope, will be watching intently for any sign of fragmentation or outgassing. If we observe this, it would provide strong evidence for a natural origin and would likely settle the debate. The mystery would be solved, and our understanding of interstellar objects would be greatly enriched. However, if 31 Atlas survives its close encounter with the Sun intact, without any signs of outgassing or disintegration, the implications would be profound. A thin, technological object like a light sail, constructed from a strong, heat-resistant material, would be designed to withstand such a pass. It might even use the close pass as a gravitational slingshot maneuver to alter its course and accelerate toward its next destination. If it emerges from behind the Sun unchanged, maintaining its anomalous acceleration, the hypothesis that it is an artificial object would become overwhelmingly compelling. It would be the most significant discovery in human history. Therefore, the astronomical community is preparing for this event with great anticipation. We are planning a coordinated observation campaign using every instrument at our disposal to monitor 31 Atlas before, during, and after its perihelion. This is not just another academic exercise, it is a test of a paradigm-shifting idea. The data we collect in late 2025 could confirm that we have found our first piece of alien technology. The universe has presented us with a testable prediction. Now all we have to do is watch and see what happens. The answer to the question, are we alone, may be waiting for us just beyond the Sun. While astronomers look to the distant cosmos for answers, sometimes the mystery appears much closer to home. In April 2024, an unusual event in Mirada, California, brought the question of extraterrestrial life down to a suburban driveway. A woman named Jessica Ortiz was at home when her Ring security camera sent an alert to her phone. The live feed showed a strange, shadowy figure moving in her driveway. It was unlike any person or animal she had ever seen. The figure was tall and thin, with long, gangly limbs, and it moved with an odd, almost weightless gait. It seemed to peek around a truck parked in her driveway before walking out of the camera's view. The video clip, lasting only a few seconds, was deeply unsettling. The entity's proportions were not human. Its head was small in relation to its lanky body, and its movements were fluid but unnatural. Jessica, watching the footage, was terrified. Her immediate reaction was one of fear and disbelief. She shared the video with her family and then, seeking answers, posted it online. The footage quickly went viral, capturing the imagination of millions. People around the world debated what they were seeing. Was it a cleverly made hoax, a person in a costume, or was it something else entirely? The local community in La Mirada was abuzz with the news. Reporters interviewed Jessica and her neighbors. The story was covered by local news outlets and then quickly picked up by national and international media. The video became a focal point for both believers in alien visitation and staunch skeptics. For many, the footage was compelling evidence that we are being visited. They pointed to the creature's strange anatomy and movements as proof that it could not be human. The video resonated with a deep-seated cultural fascination with the idea of the alien walking among us, hidden in plain sight. This event stands in stark contrast to the search for interstellar objects like Oumuamua. One is a mystery of astrophysics, based on telemetry and orbital mechanics. The other is a mystery of personal experience, based on a grainy video and a terrified eyewitness account, yet both tap into the same fundamental human question. Both present us with an anomaly, a piece of data that does not fit our normal, everyday understanding of the world. And in both cases, the search for a rational explanation pushes us to consider possibilities that lie beyond the conventional. The California Alien became a terrestrial Oumuamua, a puzzle demanding to be solved. For Jessica Ortiz, the event was not an abstract debate. It was a moment of pure terror that has lingered with her ever since. Her description of the events goes beyond the short video clip. She reported hearing strange noises around her house that night, sounds she described as clicking and chattering, almost like whispers she could not quite understand. This auditory element adds another layer of strangeness to the incident, suggesting a presence that was not entirely silent. The sounds, combined with the visual from her camera, created a powerful and frightening experience that left her feeling vulnerable and deeply unnerved in her own home. Her fear was palpable in her interviews. She spoke of being afraid to go outside after dark, of constantly checking her security cameras, and of a persistent feeling of being watched. This is not the reaction of someone perpetrating a simple hoax for attention. It is the genuine response of a person who has witnessed something they cannot explain, something that has violated their sense of safety and normalcy. Her emotional testimony is a crucial piece of the evidence. While a video can be faked, the raw, consistent fear she has expressed since the incident is much harder to fabricate and lends credibility to her account. The description of the entity itself is one of the most compelling aspects of the story. Jessica described it as being over 6 feet tall, very skinny, and moving with a strange, wobbly motion. She noted its long arms and legs and the way it seemed to glide rather than walk. This description aligns with a common archetype of the grey alien in popular culture, but the video provides a specific, unsettling visual. The way the figure peeks from behind the vehicle seems to display a kind of cautious curiosity, an intelligence that is assessing its surroundings. It does not move like a person in a costume trying to be scary. It moves like something unfamiliar with its environment. The aftermath of the sighting has been difficult for Jessica and her family. They have been subjected to intense public scrutiny, with some people praising their courage for sharing the story and others accusing them of faking the entire event. Regardless of the ultimate explanation, their lives have been turned upside down by those few seconds of grainy footage. Their experience highlights the personal cost that can come with encountering the unknown. It serves as a powerful reminder that behind every viral video of a potential anomaly, there is a human being trying to make sense of a world that has suddenly become much stranger than they ever imagined. In any investigation of an anomalous event, skepticism is a vital tool. It forces us to rigorously examine the evidence and rule out all conventional explanations before considering extraordinary ones. The case of the California Alien is no exception, and many plausible skeptical arguments have been raised. The most common explanation is that the video shows a person, perhaps a tall, thin teenager, wearing dark clothing and possibly walking on stilts or simply moving in a strange way to create a prank. The low resolution and night vision quality of the Ring camera footage could easily distort human proportions, making someone appear more alien-like than they really are. Further investigation into the incident revealed a frustrating lack of corroborating evidence which fuels the skeptical view. When reporters and investigators canvassed the neighborhood, none of Jessica Ortiz's neighbors reported seeing anything unusual that night. More importantly, none of their own security cameras, which were pointed at the same street, captured the strange figure. This is a significant blow to the credibility of the sighting. If a 6-foot-tall entity was walking down the street, one would expect at least one other camera to have captured a glimpse of it. The absence of any other footage suggests the event was extremely localized to Jessica's driveway, or that it did not happen as described. Technical experts have also weighed in, suggesting that the video could be a digital fabrication. With modern visual effects software, it is possible to create a convincing computer-generated character and insert it into a real video background. While creating a seamless fake requires skill, it is certainly within the realm of possibility for a dedicated hoaxer. The strange wobble in the figure's walk could be an artifact of imperfect motion tracking in the editing software. Without access to the original, raw video file from the Ring device, it is difficult to definitively rule out digital manipulation as the cause of the anomaly. Despite these strong skeptical arguments, the case is not entirely closed. The lack of neighbor footage could be explained by camera angles or motion sensor settings. The sounds Jessica heard remain unexplained, and her own terrified reaction seems genuine. This leaves us in a state of uncertainty, a place where many tales of the unexplained reside. The California alien sighting has become a modern Rorschach test. Believers see a visitor from another world, while skeptics see a prank or a misunderstanding. The truth remains elusive, hidden in the digital grain of the video and the silence of the surrounding neighborhood. We are left with two profound mysteries, one cosmic and one terrestrial. In the vastness of space, objects like Oumuamua and 31 Atlas challenge our understanding of astrophysics and hint at the possibility of technologies far beyond our own. Here on Earth, a grainy video from a suburban home challenges our sense of security and suggests that the unknown may be closer than we think. Both Oumuamua and the California alien are anomalies. They are data points that do not fit neatly into our established boxes of what is natural or normal. And it is in these anomalies that the greatest potential for discovery lies. The scientific approach to Oumuamua and 31 Atlas, with its rigorous data analysis and testable predictions, represents one path forward. The upcoming perihelion of 31 Atlas in 2025 is a critical moment for this method. It is a chance for science to prove or disprove a fantastic hypothesis with observational evidence. This is the slow, patient work of building knowledge brick by brick. It requires an open mind, but also a strict adherence to the scientific method. Whether 31 Atlas turns out to be a nitrogen iceberg or an alien light sail, we will have learned something profound about the universe. The story of the California alien represents a different, more personal side of the search. It speaks to the power of individual experience and the way modern technology can capture moments that defy easy explanation. While it lacks the hard data of astronomy, it possesses an emotional weight that resonates deeply with the public. It reminds us that the search for extraterrestrial life is not just an academic pursuit. It is a deep-seated human longing to know our place in the universe and to feel a connection to something larger than ourselves. These stories, even if they turn out to be hoaxes or misidentifications, fuel our collective imagination and keep us asking the big questions. Ultimately, both of these mysteries serve the same purpose. They keep us looking up at the sky and questioning what we see. They push our scientists to develop better telescopes and our public to engage with the profound possibilities that the universe holds. The search for life beyond Earth is one of the most noble and unifying quests humanity can undertake. It transcends national borders and cultural divides. Whether the next clue comes from a multi-billion-dollar space telescope or a simple doorbell camera, the search will continue. It is driven by our innate curiosity, our hope, and the enduring fundamental question, are we alone?